Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guruparamparam. Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya-varam param. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shriniyaama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangaistushtabhagam sastanubhih Vyashema Devahitayadayuh Swasti na Indro Vridhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I think we finished the 10th one. 11th also we finished. Okay. Just to revise. Na nirodho na cha utpattihi na baddho na cha sadhakah na mumukshur vai na muktah ityesha paramarthata. What is paramarthata? This is answering the question, what is that knowledge which, when I embody, the world looks a certain way. And how does the world look when I embody this knowledge is given here. Na nirodha, no end, na cha utpattihi, no beginning. And then there is no beginning, no end. In other words, it's one stream of consciousness. One unending, beginningless stream of consciousness which I am, which is not subject to time. Stream means we have to immediately, the thought will come, when it started, when is it going to end? It neither began nor is it going to end, and it is just a endless stream of consciousness. And we cannot say, I am in that stream of consciousness. That would be wrong. You can say the body, and not just my body, but every person's body, every body is in that stream of consciousness. It rises, it sustains, it goes back to that stream of consciousness, as though, we have to say. Because nothing has come from this stream of consciousness. Oh, but what about the Jagat? If you ask, what about this world? Then I will answer, what Jagat? That is where we have to go. Okay? That is where we have to go. Long ways to go, right? This is where we have to go. Oh, what about all the problems in the Jagat? If anybody asks, you just calmly look at them with a slight smile, like Lord Dakshinamurti, and say, what Jagat are you talking about? This is exactly the consciousness, abiding in this consciousness, because see, the Jagat means it's separate from me, that's the feeling. When I say the world is the cause of my problems, for example, then what am I saying? that the world is separate from me. Yeah, I am never the cause of my problems. It's always somebody else. Yeah, it's always someone else's fault. So the world is the cause of my problems. When I say, what happens? What am I saying here? That means it is separate from me. World is separate from me. And as I have told you many times, what is this me? Before knowledge, this me is just that which, wherever the skin ends, I end. Yeah. Me, not me. See, this space here between two fingers where there is no skin, no sense of touch, not me. Then again me. Then what is this? Not me. Me, not me. Me, not me. Me. Again not me, not me, not me. Yeah. Even a bullet can pass between these fingers and I'll say, bach gaya. I'm saved. I didn't touch me. So the me is as far as the skin pervades. That is the sense of touch which pervades the entire body, and so the me is connected to wherever the sense of touch abides, and whatever is the longest extremity, maybe the nose. So I exist only up to the tip of my nose and wherever the skin goes. So if there is no sensation, it is not me, anatma. This is the regular. Regular means abnormal in our understanding. This is the abnormal definition of the I from the standpoint of Paramarthika satta, paramarthata, paramarthika satta, one and the same. So from that standpoint, this me, the me being confined to this body, is a wrong understanding. Is a wrong understanding based on wrong identification. And therefore what? It has to be dropped. So if the me is not confined to this body, then what is this me? This me, first we say, is consciousness, the subject. So first we have to, because there is a mix-up between me and not me, the not me has to be delineated. So Atma, Anatma differentiation is made in the beginning. In the beginning it is made because there is a mix-up. I take the body, is body Atma or Anatma? Abba, okay. Thank God, yeah. It was worthwhile to come back. Okay. So the body is what? Anatma. So Anatma is taken to be Atma. This is my bread and butter. I take Anatma, not I, to be I. This is the problem. This is what has to be fixed. This is what has to be understood. So the anatma identification, how will it drop if I don't know what is anatma and if I don't know the mix-up? So in the beginning there is a temporary separation between atma and anatma. I, the conscious observer of everything, I consciousness, and everything that I am conscious of is what? Anatma, jada, inert. So this is anatma. So first the separation is there, but we can't stop there. That is baby Vedanta, gu gu ga ga, baby Vedanta talk. Like babies, how they talk? Yeah, just like that. This is Vedanta baby talk. To say, oh, I am separate from anatma, I am atma, everything is anatma. That is in the beginning, yes. We have to make that separation. But that separation doesn't sit well in the heart. Why? Because this is the knowledge of what? Oneness. And if it is the knowledge of oneness, then somehow that anatma has to be seen as myself alone. Anatma is atma, atma is not anatma. This is what we have to see. And what is our stock example? Pot. Pot is clay. Clay is not pot. This is what we have to see. Everything is consciousness, and for everything to be consciousness, consciousness cannot be any one thing. This is what we have to properly understand. So from this standpoint, na nirodha na utpattihi. And then what? What is the next one? Na nirodho na utpattihi. Yeah, do some work. Find out, yeah. Yeah, don't wait for just me. And there is nobody who is bound. The one who says, what Jagat? Is Jagat causing you problems? And the one who answers, what Jagat? Is not bound. No bondage, because the bondage is not an ocean, it is but a notion. So for the person who understands Paramarthata, and there's only one way to understand Paramarthiki Satta, as oneself. When I understand, I am this Paramartha, I am Paramatma, I am non-separate from that which is consciousness, which is whole, which is total, and then when I have this understanding, then there is no bondage. Not only for me, for other person also who comes and says, I am bound, I am bound. This is what every teacher has to go through. The teacher has to have an extra dose of compassion. Why? To be able to appreciate the bondage when the teacher is not seeing any bondage. So the teacher has to go along with, the teacher does not see any problem. Puja Swamiji wrote one book, Psychology has no solution and Vedanta has no problem. A very fantastic booklet. Psychology has no solution. And what does Vedanta have? No problem. So the Guru does not see a problem. When you go to the Guru doesn't say, yes, you are bound, so sad, did you bring an extra hanky? I'm looking at you, I also feel like crying. Guru is not saying that. Guru does not see a problem. Why? Because the Guru who is one with the Shastra, when the Guru is one with the Shastra, Shastra does not see a problem, therefore what? Guru also does not see a problem. So therefore, the Guru has every right to say, you approach the Guru, Adhihi Bhagavo Brahma, very seriously, with fruits and flowers in hand, you approach the Guru. Why with fruits and flowers in hand? There is one maxim, Riktapanir na pashyet. 3 people should not be seen empty-handed. Rajanam Daivatam Gurum. So 3 kinds of people. One is if you go to see a king. King means some ruler. Like if you go to see even the head of state. You may not have voted for the person, but still when you go you have to carry something. So says the Shastra. You may not like the person also. Then if you go to a place of worship, there also you don't go empty-handed. Even if you have not had time to buy fruits or flowers, you will put a little money in the hundi, in the little offertory. And then what else? Gurum. So the person who is disseminating the knowledge also you don't see empty-handed. And we have to, by extension, we can say when you see a small child for the first time, that is also like a manifestation of Bhagavan. Generally, you don't see a small child also empty-handed. But, so anyway, you go with the fruits and flowers in hand, very seriously to the Guru, oh, I am suffering, just like our fellow in the Viveka Chudamani, Turvara Samsara Davagni Taptam Dodhuyamanam Duradrishtavataihi Bhitam Prapannam Paripahi Mrityoho. Save me, I am on the brink of death. Oh Guru, I am assailed by slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. This is what exactly he says. That's why I say, Shakespeare must have studied Vedanta, because this is exactly he picked from the Viveka Chudamani and put it in Hamlet monologue. To be or not to be, that is the question. To endure something like that, he says, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Here also is the same thing the student says. So when the student comes seriously with a lot of tears in the eyes and fear in the mind, then the Guru has every right to say, off with you, there is no problem. What problem are you talking about? I don't see a problem. Do you see a problem? Then it's your problem. It's not my problem. When there is no problem, when you are seeing a problem, whose problem it is? The one who is seeing the problem, it is their problem. But the Guru doesn't say that. The Guru, as it were, enters into the Vyavahariki Satta and then appreciates the fact that you have a problem and then solves the problem not by trying to reason about samsara, not by waving one magic wand and making samsara all better for the rest of your life. No, not like that. By making the ocean of samsara disappear. How? By teaching you to revolutionize your vision so that there is no more samsara at all. This is what Mirabai sings. Murilagi lagana Guru Charananaki. I am very attached to the feet of the Guru. Why? Jhoot maya sab sapananaki. Everything else is just a mithya. Maya here is mithya. Everything else here is mithya other than the feet of the Guru, because it is almost like a dream-like Jagat. Then what happened? She went in search of the Guru. She went to the Guru to get swimming lessons, how to swim in the ocean of samsara and glub, glub, glub be afloat. How do you swim in the ocean of samsara? Should you do front stroke, back stroke, or butterfly stroke? What should you do so that you can be at least afloat? Now constantly I am drowning. If I drowned, past tense, okay, finished, kaam khatam, finished. Once and for all, it's over. No, I am present, continuous all the time. What is that? Drowning. I'm always drowning. Glub, 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 come up for air. Ooh, I met a friend, how nice. We are sinking together. We think we are swimming together, but that friend also goes under, glub, glub, glub. Then my turn, glub, 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 come up a little bit for air again. Glub, glub, glub. This is what the life is. So Mirabai thought, if I get some better floating and swimming lessons, I will be able to negotiate samsara better. But Guru did magic. What was the magic? She says, Bhavasagar sab sukh gaya hai. The ocean of becoming, this ocean of samsara has all dried up. Fikar nahi mohe tar nanaki. I don't need swimming lessons anymore because where is the water? There is no water. This water which I thought was surrounding me, the water of conflict, the water of adharma, the water of, raga, dvesha, the water of samsara, in other words, the water of feeling incomplete, the oceanic feeling I'll never be whole, all these things are what? Completely gone in the light of this knowledge, and she's understood. The swimming is not needed. Going for swimming lessons was a bondage, was a further bondage. It was more like a band-aid. And here the problem itself has gone away. Why? Ulat bhai more nayananaki. He has revolutionized. She had a guru, and that guru, she sings, has revolutionized my vision. So that no more is my vision of division. It's a vision of no division. It's a non-dual vision which includes everything. And from that standpoint, no baddha. Nobody is tied up. Nobody is bound. Even the one who is jumping up and down saying, I'm tied up, is not tied up. This one has to understand. This is not to have a sense of hubris, saying, ha, I am not tied up, you are tied up. No. No, because there is no sense of hubris, because there is no comparison, no jealousy, no kind of one-upmanship is not there in the wake of this knowledge. Everything and everyone is an extension of me. So there is a compassion, and if one is able to teach, And one's prarabdha allows one to teach, one teaches. Just like Mirabai's guru taught and gave her this vision without needing to empty out the ocean of samsara. You can't empty out the ocean of samsara one thimble full of water at a time. The best way to understand is there is no ocean, it is but an ocean. So, na baddha. If there is nobody bound, then there is nobody doing sadhana either. Na sadhakaha. What are all the spiritual sadhanas for? Preparing for this knowledge. So there is no reason to prepare for this knowledge. Why? Because there is no sense of bondage, and so there is no seeker. Sadhaka means seeker. Then next one. Na mumukshuhu navair muktaha. Navai muktaha. Na mumukshuhu. There is no seeker. Sadhaka means the one who is doing sadhana. Why is one doing sadhana? Because one is a seeker of freedom. Here mumukshu should be taken as jignasu. There is no seeker of knowledge either. No seeker of knowledge, because mumukshu is covered in sadhaka. So therefore here we have to take mumukshu as jignasu. There is no seeker of knowledge also. Why? Because there is no problem which is warranting a solution. This is from a standpoint that is very lofty. A completely different standpoint. We are just enjoying a little glimpse here. That is what we are doing. And so, navai baddhaha, navai muktaha. No mumukshu, and then nobody who can say, I am free. Why? Because before you had moksha, were you free or not? Was your nature free or not? Yes, you were already free. Even though when you were complaining that I am bound iti, you were still what? Free. So this is a knowledge without a knower. There is no agent of knowledge. So after getting self-knowledge, it is meaningless to hang a little board on the chest, which says what? I am a jnani. I have self-knowledge. The one very, very interesting, contradictory, because the one who says I have self-knowledge, does that person have self-knowledge? No, not at all. Because the one who says I have self-knowledge, why does the person who says I have self-knowledge does not have self-knowledge? If you ask, the reason is very, very clear. Because the one who says I have self-knowledge, still, who is talking? The ahankara is talking. And so the one who says, I have self-knowledge, just like I have glasses in my hand. Same thing. It is separate from me and I have it in my hand and I am showing off to everybody, look at my glasses, I have glasses. I am the possessor of glasses. Similarly what? I am the possessor of self-knowledge. It's again there is a duality. And the ego is the one, the ahankara is the one which gives up everything. Afterwards what we have to do? Let the ahankara give up itself. Yena tyajasi tat tyaja. So, by which you have given up everything, by which ahankara, that I notion, you have given up everything, give up that also. This was told to a person who became a sannyasi and then said all these things. I have given up my house, I have given up my spouse, I have given up my children. Then what else have I given up? I have given up my bank accounts, plural, and I have given up bandhus. Bandhus means relatives. Then I have given up friends. I have given up bandhus, I have given up friends, I have given up this, I have given up that. Then the Guru asked this person, when are you going to give up the giver-upper? No, the one who gives up everything has to be given up. And so then we see, no mukta, no baddha, no mumukshu, no sadhaka, na utpattihi, na utpattihi, na antaha. No anta, no utpatti. This is a very important verse. I'm glad we went over it a little bit and got the connection. Then the next one also, very nice. Eka eva atma mantavyaha. So now we don't go into entertaining. Why not we say that there are many Atmas? The 11th verse is talking about the possibility of, is negating the possibility of so-called many Atmas. Many Atmas means what? Then I will still be incomplete. I will not be that Atma. I will not be, if I am Jivatma, I will not be Paramatma. If I am my Atma, then I will not be the truth of your Atma. And therefore what happens? There is still a sense of sorrow and incompleteness, and we cannot say it is limitless at all. We absolutely cannot say it is limitless. And so therefore what? We have to go with the unfoldment of the Shruti. What does the Shruti say? Because this Ekatma, the vision of one Atma, cannot be intuited. Even though I may have, I may have some inkling that there is only one Atma, but still it is ratified by the Shruti. It is unfolded by the Shruti. And that is how this Ishvara Jnanam and Atma Jnanam takes place through the Shruti, handled as a Pramana, as a Shabda Pramana, handled by a teacher who is able to handle the Pramana, by a competent teacher. In the hands of a competent teacher, the Pramana, which is what? Aparavidya, we saw that. Because it is Shabda Rashi, the Upanishad. The Upanishad comes alive when the Pramana is handled in the form of vrittis, through going through the mouth of the Guru to the ear of the student. That's why it is called Karna Parampara. Karna Parampara. And so therefore we have to see this, that this teaching says, unfolds only one Atma, non-dually one Atma is unfolded. And so Eka Eva Atma Mantavyah, where Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu, in the waking, dream and the deep sleep states, this only one Atma must be understood. One and one alone Atma must be understood in these three states. And then what is that? The same Atma is going through every state without becoming any one state. We discussed this in detail. The sleep state, the waking state, what else is left out? Why it took so long? Are you already in that state? So, the dream state. Dream state, sleep state, waking state. So, all these three are what? Like timeshares. Yeah, so many places you have. Somebody says, I want a house by the beach. Goes to Goa, doesn't have money to buy a house. What do? Buy some timeshare. Means one house will be there, and then you pay some money every month, and then twice a year you can go for 1 week. It's called timeshare. Then they say, no, I want to also have a place. This person is wanting another place. Where? In the snow. Goes and buys a place somewhere in Kashmir, Srinagar. Because they want to have some place in the snow. And then what? One more place we need to get. The same person is also very devout and wants to go and stay somewhere where there is a lot of temples, lot of temple complex. So goes to maybe Tanjavur, which is nearby many temples, starting with Brihadishwara temple. So goes to there, because that is what they want to do. Each place, everybody asks, are you from here? What do they say? No, I am from Madhya Pradesh. I am not from here. I am not from here, I am not from here, I am not from here. Each one says, I am not from here, and then what? Then the person is told that, okay, whoever asks, the asker is told, no, I am from Madhya Pradesh, I don't belong to any of these states. And similarly, the I here, When we look at the Darshtanta, that which is exemplified, the I also, as though belongs to many states, but really is neither the waker, nor the dreamer, nor the sleeper. Yeah. If you didn't say sleeper, that means you are? So therefore, we have this, what is that? People, Chaturtham Manyante. The Mandukya Upanishad says, Chaturtham Manyante. People in their what is that called? In their Ajnanam say, this is the fourth state. There is no fourth state. There is no state. There is only one Atma, which is as though visiting these states without becoming any one of them. That is what we saw in verse number, which verse was that? 11. Now we will go to 12, and by way of introduction, verses 12, 13 and 14, all three of them have to do with pot analogy. And if there is a pot somewhere in the cupboard or something, please take it out, because we'll have some show and then tell. Okay? So, all of them have to do with pots. So, first one, the 12th verse, has to do with a pot, has to do with an example. Very interesting how the pots are used in ancient times. It's just fascinating to see. Has to do with a pot filled with water. First example. Second example has to do with a pot emptied of that water, no water, empty pot. First verse, filled pot. Second verse, empty pot. Third verse, crack pot. Okay? Yeah. So, these are the three verses, 12, 13 and 14. All of them have to do with the pot analogy. Pot analogy is there, and so we will see. Eka eva hi bhutatma bhute bhute vyavasthitah ekadha bahudha chaiva drishyate jalachandravat. So the 11th verse established that the fact that there is only one Atma. One Atma and one Atma alone is there. Nothing else is there. This was very nicely established. Where? In the 11th verse. So we should go away happy. Okay, this is the words of the Shruti. That must mean it is true. I have Shraddha, and so, okay, let us just go away happy. Let us chant the closing verse and then go away happy. No, not possible. Why? Because there are many, many buts, ifs, and what ifs. So many what ifs are there. So many buts are there. So many ifs are there. If that were true, then how come I am seeing all these people in the room? So how many Atmas are there? Count. Each one is saying I. So if we count, there are 60 people in the room. 60 Atmas it looks like. So this is one question. Another question, what this is just concerning people, but what about all the other things? The trees, the animals, the rocks and other jada things, other things that are inert, all those things are there, and so therefore how is that possible? So the vision that was so nicely given in 10 and 11, now there is a stay order. This cannot be true. This cannot be true. Why? Because it belies my perception. I see things. And my sight and my knowing from this sight of whatever I see in the world is contradictory to what the Shruti says. And to that we say, have you ever seen a pencil in a glass of water? In a clear glass of water, if you put a pencil, what will happen? Yeah, it will look like it is bent. And then you take it out, what happens? It is straight. You don't need anything, you don't need a hammer to straighten it out. Let's say you bring a hammer and then you say, I'm going to straighten out this pencil. When you take it out, what happens? It doesn't need hammer, it's already straight. So this is the power of perception. Many things are like that. Blue sky. Is the sky blue? No. It's some kind of atmospheric play. Blue sky. Sunset. Why do you keep giving the example of only sunset? You are partial to sunset, not to sunrise. Why do you only give sunset example? Because I saw how many people came for meditation. Okay, that's why I don't give sunrise example. It will make no sense. So, therefore, the sunset, we know very well because we have gone through geography in 3rd grade, 2nd grade, wherever. We have gone through geography, and what does the geography say? Sun neither sets nor rises. It's an apparition. It's an apparent reality made by the earth going round the sun. There is no sunrise, there is no sunset. So sunset and the blue sky, and then we say, oh, space is polluted. Is it possible to pollute space? No. Air is polluted, yes, but we do that projection. We say space is polluted. So therefore, that means what? Even the majority opinion need not be correct. The majority need not be right. Just because you say that, oh, everybody says that it's a blue sky, so I'm also going to say, you can say blue sky, but I'm also going to believe blue sky. That doesn't make any sense because we know better. Majority need not always be right. In the 6th century, 7th century, what everybody thought, the earth, especially in Europe, not in Vedic India, no. And in post-Vedic India, we knew already much better, but we didn't have Greek-sounding names, so all the discoveries and inventions are gone over there. But they thought, the Europeans thought that the earth was like a chapati, flat. Nobody, even now there are people, they are called flat earth philosophers. Ayushyaman bhava, that's what you have to say, live long and happy, such people, because there's no point arguing with them. Ayushman bhava, be happy, live long. So there is a group called Flat Earth Society. And so anyhow, in the olden days, they didn't know, they didn't have much way of measuring and all these things, physics, and they didn't understand the gravitational force, they didn't understand anything. So they thought the earth was flat as a chapati, so they did not know which part of the chapati they were at. Okay, So Greece, let's say Greece, so then Greece, Italy, etc., you could be very much at the end of the chapati, no saying you are in the center, correct? So that's why they did not travel anywhere. No travel, because what will happen? If you go, you will just fall off into some abyss. This was the belief. One scientist, Rishi-like scientist, called Ptolemy, came and said, no, the earth is round. The world was not ready for it. Because the majority opinion at that time was what? Chapati philosophy. So therefore, what did they do? They could have just said, okay, he is slightly mad and let him go. No, because it was against Bible, it was against all these things. They burnt him. They tied him to one piece of wood called a stake and they burnt him. It was not until many, many centuries later, in the medieval times, when Galileo came and said the same thing, that time people were more ready to accept that. So majority opinion doesn't mean, everybody thinks it's a chapati, doesn't mean it's like a chapati at all. So the perception, the perception need not be true. In every situation, the perception need not be true. Perception is usually subjective and also it need not be correct. because I'm seeing it from a limited standpoint, and whatever appears need not be always correct. And so here, this fact is being explained. Earlier, there was only one Atma that goes through all the three states, it was told. Here, the what, ifs and buts are answered. The silent Purva Paksha. Purva Paksha means the person or the objections. Silent objections from a silent objector, which is not talked about here, is being answered. Eka eva hi Atma, only one Atma, bhute bhute vyavasthitaha. The whole arrangement of the Jagat, the so-called Jagat, is that the one Atma has become, again become is within heavy quotes, has become as though many. The I in you is the same as the I in me, the I in he, the I in she, and the I in it. It's the same I. How do you say? Because that is how vyavasthitaha. Vyavasthitaha means it is a law. This is there in the Pravesha Shruti. Pravesha Shruti means the Shruti that talks about how Bhagavan has as though entered every single aspect of the universe. We find it in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So kamayat bahusyam praja yegeti satapo tapyat satapas taptva idagam sarvam asrijat. And this is, Saha, this great being, Bhagavan, contemplated, desired. Oh, Bhagavan also has desires? No. It was the desires of the jivas in repose. When are the jivas in repose? In between cycles of creation. So the jivas wake up, stretch and demand a Jagat to be able to carry out their desires, their fancies, their karmas. This is the belief. So when the jivas wake up and demand to be carried for a Jagat, then Bhagavan akamayat. So be it. Bhagavan desires, Ishvara desires, what? Bahusyam, let me be as though many. Prajayega, let me just multiply. And then what? Satapo tapyata, contemplated. What is there to contemplate on? Contemplated on the last cycle of creation, realized it was perfect, and just repeated the program, like a computer program. You just repeat it. That's what you do. You just repeated the program. Why? Because there was nothing wrong with it. Only the jivas are different or have different names and forms. But then, who will marry who? Who will be a trouble for whom? All this, the whole karmic order has already been understood, and then it is just replicated. And then, tat srishtva, having created this entire Jagat, tadeva anupravishat. Anupravishat means entered every single aspect of the creation. Known and unknown, whatever we don't know also, which is there, that also has the presence of Bhagavan. Entered every aspect of the creation, and then what? Saha abhavat, as though became every aspect of the creation, pervaded the entire creation. That's why we say Bhagavan is all pervasive. Pervaded the entire creation. That is why I keep saying Ishvaraize the Jagat, because even if I don't Ishvaraize, it is Ishvara anyway. So you just have to see Ishvara everywhere, because that is the vision of the Shruti. That is the vision of Vedanta. You see Ishvara everywhere, and then you understand you are never away from Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara, including all the bugs which bite, Ishvara. In addition to the bugs, there are people also who bug, bugging people. They are also what? Ishvara. How else will the karma exhaust otherwise? Bugs Ishvara, bugging people Ishvara, in-laws Ishvara, outlaws Ishvara, in-laws who behave like outlaws, definitely Ishvara. And then it's all Ishvara, Ishvara, Ishvara everywhere. Whatever I see, Ishvara. This is the drishti. Eka eva hi atma bhute bhute vyavasthitah. The vyavastha means it's an order. An order means it is infallible. This is Bhagavan's infallible order. Bhute bhute vyavasthitah. Ekadha. Ekadha means one-fold. We don't use the word one-fold. Ekadha bahudha chaiva. So in one form and in many forms. It's the same Atma, same Paramatma, same Bhagavan. Bhute bhute vyavasthitah. In all bhutas, in all beings, vyavasthitah. And a wonderful example is given. You may have heard this in other situations. And what is the example? The Jalachandravat bhute bhute vyavasthitah ekadha bahudha chaiva drishyate. Now we come to the question of perception. The difference in perception, drishyate. Drishyate all right, but that whatever drishyate, whatever is seen is not real. Mithya. Mithyattvena drishyate. Drishyate we don't take to be the reality. What do we take to be the reality? Shruti Vakya that says Eka eva hi bhutatma bhute bhute vyavasthitah. One Atma, which is the Atma of all bhutas. Bhutanam Atma. Sarvesham Bhutanam Atma. The Atma of all is what? Is arranged in such a way that it is there in everybody and in everything. So did it lose weight? No. Because it did not become anything. This is what it is. It is called, what is that? Vivarta Karanam. Vivarta Upadana Karanam. Not Parinami. See, two kinds of causes are talked about. One is called Parinami Karanam. Parinami Upadana Karanam means in becoming something, there is a change. So like for example, the 5 elements underwent a grossification, we hear in the Tattva Bodha and certain other texts, even in the Chandogya also we have that. The 5 elements underwent a grossification and then what? Became the earth, became the fire, the visible earth, the visible fire, the objectifiable air, became all this. So now that the subtle 5 elements have now undergone a process of grossification and have become the earth, become within quotes, has become the earth, can you now make the earth back into its subtle form? No. This is called Parinami Upadana Karanam, where the raw material has undergone a change in order to become the Jagat, so to speak. That is one kind of Karana, one kind of cause. The second kind of cause, material cause, is, what is that? It is called Vivarta Upadana Karanam. Vivarta means, Vivarta Karanam means it hasn't undergone any change. Without undergoing any change, it is broadcasting itself, it is appearing to be air, water, fire, earth, etc. without undergoing any change. When we talk about this, we are talking about Eka eva hi bhutatma, one Atma, without undergoing any change, appears as all these things without having undergone any change, without becoming anything in particular, because it is the limitless whole. Bhute bhute vyavasthitah ekadha bahudha chaiva, in one form or the other form or many forms. And the beautiful example is given, like many pots filled with water, kept under the full moon, which was yesterday, I think. So the full moon, which was yesterday, yesterday night, if we had come out and then put all these pots of water under the moon, what will be there? How many moons will be there? If we put 10 pots of water, how many moons shall we see? Technically 11, okay? Yeah. So, details, yes, we have to be alert. So, technically we will see 11, but yes, what is that? For the sake of this verse, for the sake of understanding this verse, we can say we will see as many pots of water as there are pots, as many moons as there are pots of water. So, we will see the moon reflected. In a small pot of water, if we see the moon reflected, is it small? Do we see a small, tiny moon because it's a small pot of water? No. If it's a big pot of water, does the moon grow into becoming big? No. Same moon in many, many different pots of water. Very beautiful example for a very important reason, because here we have the unfolding of what is called Pratibimbavada. Pratibimbavada, the theory of reflected consciousness, reflected within heavy quotes, as though reflected consciousness. Because we have this doubt. There is a doubt. What is the doubt? How did this Atma become this body-mind-sense complex, especially the mind? How does this Atma live, as it were, in this body-mind-sense complex? I want to find out. I want to know. That's why we have this helpful philosophy called Pratibimbavada. We'll look at it briefly, and there will be other occasions also perhaps to look at it. And so what is this Pratibimbavada? Pratibimbavada says that just like the pots of water under the moonlight, or we can even take sunlight, because sunlight is available every day. Moonlight, we have to wait for every 15 days. So let us just be plentiful and take the sunlight. So many pots of water under the sunlight. And the sunlight, what does it happen when there are so many pots of water? It is all reflected. And the pots of water are the minds. So similarly, consciousness, the mind is made from the sattvic aspects of the 5 elements. And so therefore, it is a perfect receptacle, container to reflect, so to speak, that consciousness, by which the mind, shining in borrowed light of consciousness, attains what? Attains Chetanatam. Chetanatam agat. Attains Chetana. Attains Chetanatvam. Attains sentiency. The mind is inert. But we will never know the mind is inert. Why? Because it acts as though it is sentient. How does it act as though it is sentient? Because sentient, we say it is blessed by consciousness, we can say that, or we can use the Pratibimbavada terminology and say what? Say that it is very much the, it is reflected, the consciousness is reflected in the mind, because the mind is a appropriate organ, or a mind is an appropriate upadhi. Better yet, the mind is an appropriate upadhi for this consciousness to be reflected. And so, what is the use of the consciousness reflecting in the mind? The mind gains a borrowed sentiency, like the crow which went into the peacock convention. Yeah, there was a crow, and then it saw one nice peacock conference. They were all dancing, and there was a big board, annual peacock convention. Ooh, I will also go, said the crow. And then it saw underneath, only peacocks allowed. Oh, so sad. What to do now? And so then it went around the perimeter, because it was all nicely fenced. There was security, everything. And then it saw the peacocks dancing very happily. And when they danced, they forgot themselves, and what would happen? A few feathers fell. Crows are very intelligent. So this one took 3 feathers, enough, It took 3 feathers, and then it also strutted towards the main entrance where there was a bouncer there. Bouncer means security, like we have at the entrance of the ashram. Those who don't belong are thrown out. That fellow was confused. Saw this one, but then he couldn't say anything because recently at the office they had diversity training. Okay. Don't shame differently abled people. Peacocks come in all shapes and sizes. Yeah. Maybe this is a balding peacock. Don't say, "Are you a peacock?" It will feel bad. Yeah. So then he said, "Theek hai, aa jao, chalo." The crow was thrilled. It went inside. It too started to dance. Ha ha ha, very nice. I'm also dancing just like them. And then what happened? Feathers fell off, and it was pecked out of the peacock convention. Similarly, the mind is like that. The mind borrows. That's why I said 3 feathers. Sat, Chit, Ananda. The so-called Lakshana of consciousness. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Feathers, it borrows and then shines as though it is Satchidananda. Wonderful. But really what it is? Just a jada. Just something that is made up of these 5 elements. Sattvic aspect. So therefore, it has the ability to reflect this consciousness. And through this, it gains sentiency, it gains the ability to reason, the ability to think, the ability to make conjectures, the ability, the creative ability, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, all that. It is able to sport. It is able to sport. So this is basically the theory of reflected consciousness. There are a few other things because you see, we have to cover a few other things because now we have taken this water and sunlight, pot of water and sunlight analogy, and then what if the pot of water is completely sludgy, dirty pot of water? What will the sun look like? In a clear pot of water, what will the sun look like? All this we have to discuss, which we will do when? Tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Don't leave yet, there is prasad. But before that, show of hands, how many people